In this last episode of Sister Wives, there was a huge moment between the interviews between Janelle and Kody, and I want to discuss it. So in this, Janelle is talking about how we used to all make decisions as a group, and in the past couple of years, Kody started pulling out large amounts of money without even talking to someone. And she clarifies, hey, we've always talked about me being the money person, but the truth is all I did really was record stuff and send it to the CPA. I was not deciding how the money was spent. And then they cut to Kody's interview, who's clearly been told what Janelle says, because he comes in foaming and he's like, I have 18 kids and 4 wives. And, this is none of Janelle's business. Well, hold up, Kody. To me, he might as well have just said, I'm pulling out money for Robin. We know that's what happened, but that's basically what he just said, is I pull out money and it's not your business because I'm spending it on Robin. And the reason I say that is because they've always discussed money. Since the very beginning of the show, they've discussed money because they know that one of the main criticisms of polygamy is that it takes advantage of the women. So from the very beginning, they've been very explicit about how they spend their money because they were trying to prove to us that polygamy was not bad for women. Boy, has that gone wrong. Sometimes people are like, how dare you? This is their private business. Not when they've made it a huge chunk of the show. And since the beginning, they discussed about how decisions were made monetarily as a group. That's how she says it's always been done. That's kind of how it was presented. We prioritize these big bills. They discussed all that. And then Kody starts pulling out this, I have 18 kids, even though by a few years ago, half of those kids or more, 2/3 of those kids are out of the house, except Robin's, and that it was none of Janelle's business. Well, how was it that it was all Janelle, Christine, and Mary's business until something happened? I wonder what that was. And it even sounds, according to Janelle, even in Vegas, they still followed that, which made sense. They had 4 mortgages. Everything was pretty equal. Probably electric bills were pretty similar. All of that kind of stuff was really similar until they moved to Flagstaff. And then Christine had to buy a house because she couldn't find a rental. From what I see, it was extremely affordable, reasonable stuff. Janelle and Mary were renting. Janelle had a very modest house. Mary had a much more extravagant house, but she was going to pay for, I don't know if she was paying for it completely herself or the difference. I don't know. And then we got into this weird thing where somehow Janelle and Mary's money went to Robin. And then Robin had this extremely expensive house with a big, huge mortgage and has to be significantly more to heat, to light. There's probably higher property taxes. And we start to get this really uneven balance. And instead of it being that the kids are in each other's houses all day, the kids aren't seeing each other. To me, it's really, really indicative of when Kody says it's none of your business. It means it's none of your, Robin is none of your business. Because if this was about Christine, this was about Mary. We know it's never about Mary. Or Janelle, that's always been her business. They've always made group decisions until Flagstaff, until Robin, until all these things. And so for me, when he turned around and said it was none of Janelle's business, it's basically like he signed an affidavit saying, I spent the money on Robin, or we spent the money on things that we both felt was appropriate. I don't know where that money went. We know that he has these really expensive paintings, whether they're original paintings, like painted paintings, or they're G-clay prints, which are like prints with paint, which I don't know what their resale value is on those. I would guess not much because they're still just prints. But they're incredibly expensive. They've got new jewelry all the time. They've got 2 fancy 4-wheelers. Even in this last episode when they went, I'm like, why are 4 different cars? Why are 3 different cars driving up? Why do they all have individual cars? Anytime you see a picture of their house, they've got 19 cars in the front yard. And it just seems like they have 2 fancy 4-wheelers. He bought those expensive mopeds. It seems like every time you turn around, he's got fancy new stuff. So I thought it was really interesting that he doesn't even deny that he's pulling out money. He's not saying, I pulled that out for a life insurance policy for all of you, or I pulled that out to pay for Coyote Pass. He goes, it's none of your business. And we all know that if it was none of Janelle's business, we only know one possible thing it could be. That's Robin.